Welcome to this new episode of the Blueprints podcast. I'm Edgar Roth from Symbiotic, and today I'm joined by Raphaël Bloch.
As a journalist and with the big whale, we have this role just to give facts, give the best analysis, and this is why I think that we are, so different from the other crypto tech media. If we are not, and once again, as an industry, able to improve and have higher standards, at the end, it's the TradFi and the regulators that will set up the rules. We have traceability, but we don't have transparency. And if you don't have this, it will be really hard to scale this industry and also, once again, to onboard financial institutions and corporates.
This resonates a lot with what I'm seeing personally, like in my work at Symbiotic. And this is why Symbiotic is becoming more than just a place where you have economic security in the proof of stakes use cases, but it can become this underwriting and risk transfer platform where you can underwrite a whole bunch of different risks. And because all of the TVL, all of the capital is already there, all of these different use cases are composable with one another. So Raphaël, great to see you here at the Staking Summit. How are you doing?
Good. Always happy to be at DEF CON and especially at the Staking Summit.
100%. This one is a very interesting interview because it's the first time we have someone representing crypto media on the podcast, and I'm guessing you are more used to interviewing people than being interviewed yourself. So
yeah, right.
It's definitely going to be a fun one. We like to start this off by doing some rapid fire questions. What's one aspect of the crypto industry that frustrates you the most?
Oh, it's a good question. I would say that maybe the transparency. I think that we are all here because we think that TradFi is, lack of transparency. And at the end, but because this is, a newborn industry, we need to understand better where is the value, how every party is working. So maybe it's about transparency.
So if you were not working in media right now, which crypto project would you be building in?
No, it's a tough question for me. So of course I will not drop a specific name, but I think that I would work, of course, in DeFi. Maybe the question is rather for a DeFi protocol or maybe a staking company, but I will hand on this.
Okay. What is the biggest myth about institutional adoption in the crypto ecosystem?
Wow, really good question. It's more the fact that they don't understand what's going on in the crypto space. I'm always, in a good way, quite surprising when I talk to asset managers, banks, that actually they understand what's going on in the crypto industry. It's more than they have really deep questions about risk management, who they should work with in this industry. So they understood what staking is and DeFi. Of course, not all of them, but they understood, and now they just want to know with which project they should work with.
What is the biggest L that you, Raphaël, personally have taken on chain? Biggest loss?
Oh, actually not that much because, we are really transparent on this. We will talk about it after, but at the big whale, because we want to stay, independent in a way that, of course, we have crypto with the company and ourselves. But we don't want to have too big exposure because at the end, you can't, give straightforward analysis. For example, if you have a big leverage on a protocol or on a project. So on this, I have Bitcoin, ETH, and some crypto. And I think that, the biggest loss, but it's not that much. It's around 10K.
What is your favorite crypto prediction? Do you have a crypto prediction for 2026 that might surprise people?
Oh, no, actually, and I don't want to be, too, it's not sarcastic, but it's more, okay, we really want to stick to the facts and to follow directly project and what's going on. So we don't like that much to, predictions, even if at the end of the year, every time we are saying that, okay, maybe this trend or this project will skyrocket. I would say that, I mean, of course, and I think that in 2026 it will be the case, tokenization, because as you know, if you have real world asset, I mean, you need to have the cash on chain, and I think that now with stablecoins we have this cash on chain, and I mean, because the total market cap is growing up, I think that at the end we will see a major growing in the, I mean, tokenization of real world assets.
Super interesting. Let's go into some longer form questions. Raphael, you as I was saying before, you're quite a unique guest on the podcast because you're representing crypto media, and we like to ask to the crypto builders like what are their origin story, like getting into crypto, and usually they have like lots of like stories around like, well, they were like in computer science class, or like they were working on some like very deep technical thing, and this is how they got like essentially like interests into the crypto space. I'm wondering, like on your end, like what got your first exposure to crypto as something that could be seen as something serious, something to investigate, and not just like speculation.
Yep. So yeah, of course. So yeah, I studied law and finance, and when I was at the business school, so between 2011 and 2014, so I discovered Bitcoin in year 2012, 2013. Of course, I didn't buy Bitcoin by that time, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I was triggered by the fact that it was censorship resistant. And maybe, and because you are a little bit younger than I, but I'm sure that you remember the European crisis with the European, I mean, sovereign debt. They talked about, okay, maybe we could, I mean, size the capital of some really high net worths if we need to repay for the sovereign debt, which was, I mean, really high in especially Greece. And so yeah, I was, I mean, quite interesting in this digital assets that you can't size as government. But first, I think that as many people, I didn't understand exactly what was Bitcoin at that time. And then I remember in 2015, so at that time I was working at Reuters, so the press agency. I heard a trader on a call, I mean, speaking about Bitcoin and the fact that, yeah, he bought 4 or 5 Bitcoin just to try. And I was like, okay, if this guy, I mean, he's buying Bitcoin and because he's, I mean, well informed and he understands finance, I think that this is something that I should, I mean, more deep dive in. And so I did, and finally I understood what is Bitcoin and the real intrinsic, yeah, value of Bitcoin. So of course, censorship resistance, but also, I mean, the peer-to-peer mechanism and the fact that, okay, this is like digital gold. And fast forward, so I work for Reuters and then for Les Echos, which is like the French Financial Times. And I was in charge of so fintech payments. And I told them, okay, guys, we need to, I mean, write and cover Bitcoin and then Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies. And they told me that no, it was only about, I mean, bullshit, terrorism, and stuff like this. And thanks to the, I mean, I would say the first global bull market in 2017, I'm sure you understand, I mean, you remember.
That's where I came into the space.
Exactly. And so, yeah, thanks to this, I mean, bull market, it was way easier as a journalist to cover, I mean, crypto. And yeah, we launched the Big Whale so in 2022, and with my 2 co-founders, Gregory and Dimitri, we knew from the beginning that this market will shift from a very B2C perspective to a more B2B perspective. And I really like to say that now the adoption for retail, I mean, it's almost done. I like this figure, Coinbase, Binance, they have like millions of customers. So now the biggest challenge is not only to allow people to buy and sell crypto, it's more involved all the companies, financial institutions, because we need also to change the whole infrastructure. And I think that, yeah, in this way, as a journalist and with the Big Whale, we have this role just to, I mean, give facts, give the best analysis. And this is why I think that we are, I mean, so different from the other crypto tech media.
One thing I wanted to zoom in on is your background as someone that's French. Of course, I'm French too, so I kind of already could answer this question myself, but I want to I want to ask you specifically like what it is to be part of like a big crypto media institution in France, and how has like the French lens essentially like shaped your view of the ecosystem. What is your take on like how French people approach like cutting edge technology in general?
Yep.
Like, do you think it's different from other spaces? Like, how do the people our age, right? Like, how do they approach crypto?
It's yeah. I love this question. I would say that there is, I mean, two ways to answer. The first one, as I mean, we are both French. That, as you know, our country was built on centralization. I mean, and not only the last decades. I mean, for history. So we had kings, and so it's a very centralized country. And I think that only French can really understand this, even if other countries are also centralized. But I mean, in France, this is in our culture. So it's really interesting to have this really decentralized technology and philosophy in a country like France, where especially politics is very centralized. We have a president that has almost all the power. And of course, I mean, we have a democracy. But I mean, still, it's very centralized. So first, it's really interesting to see this. And the second thing, and I think that you are a really good example of this, is that, and people know that in France, we have really good engineers, mathematicians. And so this is why we have so many good projects, or so many good projects with French, builders. Could, quote many projects like, of course, Morpho, Kiln, but I mean, you had Ledger, you had Pico. I mean, yes, Pico, Defense. I mean, there are so many. And also, there are so many projects like Symbiotic, where there are some French builders. And so I think that, yeah, it's really interesting to see that in France. So we like centralization, but on the other hand, we have biggest brains in this space that are able to build almost the best projects in this space. And so this is why France has this, quite, strange approach of crypto, but still, I mean, a really good ecosystem and a really dynamic ecosystem. And I think also that crypto is really useful for France, because this is a way also to adapt our political system with, I hope, maybe a more decentralized approach in the coming years.
And do you think, because like this French dominance in terms of like engineering minds, it's also true in Web 2 and AI, for example. And just talking like thinking about AI, like in AI, you have like Yann Lequin, you have François Chollet, like big names that have like really been like
We have this AI.
like yeah, exactly. But these guys, like the great minds in Web 2, they tend to get brain drained into the US. You think France is at a similar risk when it comes to crypto?
As you know, I'm traveling a lot, and this is also your case, and not only in the US. I mean, I saw you, I'm sure, in Asia, but I can't remember if it was in Singapore, Seoul, or Tokyo, or even Hong Kong, and also in the US. And I think that this is not only a challenge for France, it's a challenge for Europe. I mean, globally, we have a really nice, way of living. We have good universities. I think that we have an interesting model, but we lack also money and maybe an ecosystem that will, retain all the talents. On the US, it's different. It's, you really need to work harder. I mean, life is, harder just to get a random wage. But at the same time, for the, best engineers, it's not a paradise, because they need to work so hard, but the reward is just insane and unmatched compared to even Asia. So yeah, of course, we have a lot of good startups, big brains in Europe. But as you know, as this crypto industry is maturing, you need more capital. You need to reach, bigger corporates, enterprises, and so yeah, it becomes challenging for Europe to say, okay, here is your future. I mean, your future is in France because we have a big market, or your future is in the UK, in Germany, because at the end is not that true compared to the US. So I just spent 2 weeks in New York because of the now clear path on the regulation towards crypto. Of course, I saw almost all the European projects, not every time the CEO, but teams that really want to expand in the US because at the end it's a question of money. And
Yeah.
for the moment, I mean, big money is in the US.
Yeah, customers are in the US, so you have to have a presence there. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely like a theme that I've been hearing a lot. One thing that I wanted to also like zoom in on is like your motivations around starting a crypto media. You briefly talked about it, but can you explain more like your positioning? Like, how do you see like the crypto media space, like in crypto in general,
Yep.
and like where do you think like you fit in? Like, and like, was this always obvious to you that you would choose like this positioning, like in terms of crypto media? Like, did you see a gap and you said like, yeah, this needs to be filled, or did you pivot at some point?
Yeah, no, once again, it's a good question. I mean, we are hiring journalists and analysts, so I mean, if you don't want to work anymore in staking, feel free to to reach out. No, I mean, more seriously, yeah, I mean, it's so we launched the Big Whale in 2022, so a little bit more than 3 years ago. Everyone knows that, I mean, 2022, I think, will remain as one of the worst year in the crypto, and not only because of FTX, but it was the end of the previous bull market.
FTX was happened in November 2020, so like
Exactly. And I think that it was more a consequence of, I mean, everything was booming and it's not sustainable. And so, yeah, with my two co-founders, so it's really important to have in mind that we had all of us a really good position in the media space, or even our CEO, Dimitri. I mean, he was running 80 people company and everything was, I mean, fine. But we had this, I mean, it was in our guts, this, I mean, will of, okay, we are in this space for years and we really want to build something on our own. And we thought that, we will be the best, I mean, to create the, I mean, perfect. So it's not a media because we don't just provide information. It's, I mean, we like to define the Big Whale as a market intelligence platform. So, yeah, we thought that we will be the best to do this because we know the market, we know how journalists are working, and we knew also how to design the best business model. And this is, I mean, getting to your point. So yeah, at the Big Whale, we don't do paid content, affiliation, and stuff like this, marketing. We don't have anything against this, but I mean, all the other crypto outlet media are working like this, and we know that, I mean, where they're talking about information, it's just a marketing leverage. It's just a way to, okay, you will do a lot of content, you will increase your SEO, and at the end, you'll be able to sell, I mean, page views and stuff like this to, I mean, crypto companies. We don't want to do this. So from the beginning, we had this, I mean, paid approach in a way that we have clients that are paying for so our market intelligence. So I mean, we are a B2B media, not a B2C media. So this is the first difference. The second one is we are based and we rely on licenses. So we have clients, more than 100. So it's mostly TradFi companies like banks, asset managers, and corporates, big ones in Europe. And we have also actually crypto companies as clients. And so they get access to our briefings, research. They also get access to our network, the team, so we can do calls and stuff like this with them. And the third thing is our events. So we have every month events. I'm not sure that you already attend one of our events.
I should. I'm not in Paris anymore, but
Okay.
this
Yeah,
like
but
an excuse.
exactly. But I mean, we are not doing events only in Paris. So it's all over Europe, in London, in Paris, in Geneva.
Come to Madrid, man.
Okay. So I mean, it's not it. And yeah, we will do something in Madrid. And so yeah, so we are providing this. Everything is behind the paywall. So yeah, this is a totally different business model. But once again, back to one of the first point that I mean we talked about. We want to build trust and we want to onboard all the companies and not only crypto companies. So if you really want to do this, you need to build trust, I mean, with those companies.
Yeah.
And we think, but this is our approach, that's, I mean, just providing content on if you pay, you have a content is not the best way to provide content. And actually, it's not helping the whole industry to grow because, as you know, a good project doesn't need to pay for content because they have traction. And I would say that a less relevant project will pay, and so will fake its traction, just to say, oh, okay, I mean, we are as good as this one because, oh, look, we had this really a large campaign in media. But come on, I mean, it's just only about marketing. So
Man.
once again, we have a different business model. We are B2B focused, and yeah, we want to build something like Bloomberg or Politico. So a very strong brand with, I mean, a lot of confidence from the ecosystem, but not only the crypto ecosystem. I think that our biggest win so far is to have clients like, and I will not drop names, but yeah, just take the biggest banks and biggest funds in Europe. I mean, they are whole clients at the big well because they want to understand, okay, what is the difference between Symbiotic and other projects? What is the difference between Aave and Morpho? And that's it.
Okay, so so essentially, like you guys are a bit like the eyes of TradFi. They don't have the time and energy to spend time in DevConnect. So you're here with them, you're learning on their behalf, and then you're like digesting this information for them to properly like understand what's going on right now in crypto.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point. I wouldn't say that we are the eyes, I mean, of TradFi, because I'm in this space with Gregory for, I mean, next year it will be, I mean, 10 years. So we are really close to all the crypto projects. But yeah, once again, the biggest challenge for our industry and the big whale is in this industry is to build trust and to onboard, I mean, TradFi and corporates. So for us, there is no, I mean, 10 ways to do this. And we think that we have one leg in the crypto space and one leg outside. And so this is the best, I mean, way just to, I mean, bridge those two worlds.
Yeah. And so if you look at like where your product is today with the customers that you're trying to like service today and where you see crypto go tomorrow, like you said it yourself at the beginning, a myth about crypto institutional adoption is that institutions understand more that we give them credit for. As institutions start understanding more and more things about crypto, you might have to digest less things because institutions will probably like understand things like more like seamlessly than right now, where you have maybe to digest more things for you. So how do you see your product evolving in the next like 5-10 years as institutional adoption starts being a complete standard?
Yep. No, really good point. And actually, we are thinking about this every week or even every day. So yeah, no, just to be clear about doubts and maybe about what is market intelligence. I mean, in 10 years, we will still be able to do market intelligence in a way that market intelligence is just an informational and business edge for our clients. So, I mean, of course, now we are more in a time where, okay, we need to make things easier in a way that, TradFi, funds, banks will, understand what's going on in this space. And once again, what is the difference between this project and this project? Why this trend about stablecoins or tokenized deposits is, the difference between the two of them. So it's not about education, but of course, even if a lot of, TradFi people are understanding what's going on, as you know, every month we have new updates in this space. New products, new things to follow. So the big whale is here for that. In 5 years, we'll have only ecosystem, an hybridation of TradFi and DeFi. The big whale will be still relevant because we will be, the major market intelligence platform. Providing insights, business edge on what's going on in this space. So, it will be still really relevant.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. One thing that I wanted to have your opinion on is the role of media generally in crypto. Like media outlets have like had a lot of impacts on crypto in general. You've mentioned right before that like some of them might be like biased because like they have like business interest. Yeah, because they have business interest with a lot of these projects. Can you talk a bit about like I guess like the darkest parts of media in crypto, and if you had to spread the word out there for all of your colleagues in the media space. Like, what would be like the thing you would like to hammer home as to like what is a good and a bad practice for media?
Yeah. Of course, and we know each other now for at least 2 or 3 years, and I really respect and appreciate your work. And yeah, about this, you know that I'm quite straightforward and transparent. So of course, I'll be cautious because I'm not the only one to work at the big whale. Now we are 15, so I don't want to be too rude with some specific crypto media. So first, we have a lot of respect for everyone building in the space. Being said that, yeah, we launched the big whale on purpose because once again, I remember the launch of Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, The Block, BlockProx. All of those crypto outlet media, and we knew from the beginning that their business on just free information will be it will be mandatory for them, just to have side activities. And so once again, information for them, it's more marketing leverage. And so they publish a lot of content, and behind the scene, and sometimes not behind the scene, they are just working directly with projects. So it's paid content. It's also, and sometimes, and for me, which is not I would say unacceptable, it's more investments. And I know, and once again, I will not quote the media, but I know that different crypto media are investing directly in the project, and after they're just showcasing the project without saying that they invested. And sometimes they're saying this, but once again, people don't have the time just to
To read the disclaimer.
yeah, and essentially, yeah, every time to read the disclaimer. So about this, yeah, once again, we are not looking that much at what the competition is doing, because we don't think that actually the other crypto outlet media are competition. You saw that Blockworks dropped the newsroom, so now they don't have any more journalists, and I really like what they are doing. But yeah, at the end, it's more about consulting and investments, and which is fine. And about this, it's really interesting to see that, look just at every media in the crypto space, and actually not only in the crypto space. You have on one hand more investment funds, and so they started with investments, and then they built podcasts and events. On the other side, you have media that build a website, and now they have podcasts, events, and they are doing investments. So I think that they all want just to invest, and then they want to leverage their community. So if you take more VCs now, with media and events, they want to build a community for their portfolio. And on the other side, you have more media that have those communities, and yeah, they will say to projects, okay, if you let us investing in your projects, we will bring you the users and the market. So once again, the big whale, we are not doing this. We really want to be on top, or maybe the first primitive. And so yeah, we don't invest, we don't have VC funds, we are not doing PR agencies and stuff like this. It's more, we have the best research team on the planet. And once again, I really want to outline this. We have, we provide the best edge in terms of information and business edge for our clients, and this is it. And I think that this is how things should work in a more mature ecosystem. Because if you have a mature ecosystem, you know what a company is doing, and you can't just do everything at the same time. Investment, staking, media, podcast, events. It's like a restaurant. You can't have everything at the same time.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Something I want to have also like your opinion on is, I feel like you have been, especially the big whale, you guys have been like quite close, and you have been like in the front row seat of like the recent institutional adoption, at least in this crypto cycle. Like we were coming from like quite some like bad places, right? We had like FTX in 2022, right? The year that the big whale launched. I want to know like what, in your opinion, like drove this institutional adoption, like in this cycle specifically, like like yeah, we had the Bitcoin ETF, and but Bitcoin ETFs like were had been filed since 2013.
Yeah.
Why did everything started to accelerate in 2023, 2024,
Yep.
and not before?
There is not only, yeah, there is no one single reason for this. There are many. I would say because I've been in this space for a while and representing the big whale at many conferences, not only crypto conferences. And it's really important to have this in mind. So also more TradFi conferences like Sybos, the annual Swift conference. And I'm really convinced that we should thank, I mean, more TradFi people, especially the ones that, tried for years to do things in banks, asset managers, and stuff like this. And finally, worked in more, crypto startups and crypto companies. And so help the crypto companies also to change their approach, to change the way that they are just talking about crypto. Because, I mean, once again, and I had really good conversations with especially banks, and they told me, for example, staking. I mean, for years, staking protocols came to banks like, okay, you should, got more interested in staking. I mean, guys, just talk about yield. I mean, you have a banker in front of you, just talk about yield. And this is exactly the same with Curator. I mean, as you know, the last weeks, and I mean, not only the last weeks, but it was, prominent the last weeks. I mean, we are still talking about Curator just because we don't want them to be regulated. So it's obvious.
We are afraid of saying asset manager.
Exactly, exactly. And so at the end, this is also something that, increase the gap between TradFi and crypto. If you just talk to a banker and say to him, okay, you need to stake and you need to work with Curator. Still, you already lost him. But if you have this good conversation with him and just, tell him that, okay, we are providing yield. This is exactly the same activity as you are doing. On DeFi, there is a space with curators, and they are assessing the risk and managing, at least for some of them, the money of their clients. And so it becomes, more easier to understand. And so I think that, yeah, a lot of TradFi people made a lot for this. And I would say also that, on the other hand, yeah, when you have BlackRock or Société Générale, so the French bank, so BlackRock launched, its ETF, biggest, launch in the history of ETFs, at least for the last 30 years. And so, of course, it has a big impact. And the same for Société Générale. Société Générale, one of the biggest, French and European banks, they have their own stablecoins with Société Générale Forge. Now they have, a partnership with different curators to provide exposure to their clients with the ERCV, so their stablecoins on Morpho. So, things like this are, of course, also accelerating the rhythm and the path for adoption. So, yeah, I would say, of course, people, because we are, forgetting too much that even it's a technological industry, it's also a matter of, people. And also, I would say, big financial institutions. When you have BlackRock and Société Générale, the others, just need to be more cautious.
That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, like I do feel like sometimes like crypto companies, they might be like degens on the outside, but in reality, like especially in the legal teams, are very, very risk averse. And this is why like people would rather say like reward rate than APY. And this is why people are calling themselves risk creators rather than asset managers. And at the end of the day, like you can't really blame them, right? You like there's like some very like tight rules around like naming things in traditional finance. It is normal that like these DeFi and crypto protocols don't necessarily want to use the same naming. And I mean, maybe nowadays it's changing with the recent like a change in administration in the US. But like you could totally see like why they were choosing like this path. Like, do you feel like this will change? Do you think like the legal like do you expect the legal framework that exists today in finance to change and to take a step towards crypto, or do you think there's going to be like a specific framework for crypto?
Once again, you are a really good interviewer. No, it's a. I think that this is probably one of the most important thing. Why? First, just let's have a look at the difference between Europe and the US. At the Big Well, we covered really closely regulation, especially between Europe and in the US. So in Europe, they built MiCA, which is a totally new framework. In the US, they saw what Europe did, and they chose not only because Europe created MiCA, but they chose not to have a specific framework, but to say, okay, we're talking about assets. So we don't care if it's a physical asset or if it's a digital asset. A stock is a stock. So it could be a paper or it could be just a token on a blockchain. So first, I think that this divergence of regulation is a big challenge. And I'm not sure that on this Europe will take the lead. I mean, this is honestly, I really don't know if the US are right or if Europe is right on this. But I think that first, this is the biggest challenge. And the second thing is more about and yeah, it's so deep actually. So we are talking about a new technology, and we are both using crypto. And the interesting thing is that if you just want to replicate the same framework, the same TradFi framework for crypto, it can't work like this. It's exactly like internet, and I would say the postal system. Look at, and I'm really pissed off with the KYC, KYB system from the traditional finance. If you do the same in a permissionless system, and once again, it's like internet.
In a public blockchain?
In a public blockchain, it doesn't work. So I don't want to say once again that, back to my first point, Europe is right on building a specific framework. But when I'm thinking about this, sometimes I'm like, okay, the US chose to have the same framework. I'm not sure that this is the right way. But yeah, at the end, I think that we shouldn't have exactly the same framework. Because once again, in the physical world, especially in finance, everything is under control. Even even in the digital world, for TradFi. In crypto, I'm sure that we didn't build such an amazing thing just to have exactly, the same control and stuff like this. So I think that, yeah, we should have a different framework. Of course, the same, principles.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to have a more tailor-made system. And I think that's, all the traditional finance will benefit from it. So it's not only, an opposition between DeFi and TradFi. It's also, I'm sure that we can upgrade in a good way traditional finance. So yeah, let's at the end, I would say that we need to innovate. So let's have a framework. Let's take some, feature from the TradFi framework, but let's be also able to, to tailor-made thing. And just to finish on this, you could think that what I've just said, with what I just said, you could think that, okay, Europe is on the right path. But, the bad thing with Europe is that the MiCA regulation is, more constraining than the TradFi regulation. So this is why, okay, it's cool to have a different, framework. But if you have a more controlled framework, it's not interesting.
And I especially think that it's a bit backwards, especially like when you see at like the latest innovation in technology, in cryptography specifically, like you would think that with all of the ZK proof innovation happening right now, like KYC and KYB would be something that's like completely frictionless, that could be compatible with self-custody,
100%.
and that would not be like a huge burden on the institutional side, right? It could something that could be scalable.
100%. I mean, back to the French builders. So, as you know, on this, there are many good projects, not only in France, but for example, Zama or Zypher. They are working on this, but I mean, also ZK Sync. I mean, there are so many good teams working on this. And so, this is exactly why we need to bridge those two worlds because, yeah, I'm sure that those projects will, I mean, bring the solution. I mean, to keep, I mean, of course, some KYC and AML regulation, but we can't have, I mean, the TradFi and the crypto regulation and to have, I mean, two levels of regulation. At the end, it will just kill this industry. And because we both know that this industry can't be killed, I mean, at the end, it will be massive in Asia and in the US and nowhere in Europe.
Yeah, the industry cannot be killed, but it can sometimes suffer some hit in reputation. And of course, the biggest example is FTX in 2022.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to ask you about is with the recent DeFi exploits, just when DeFi is starting to get adopted by big institutions like Societe Generale, how do you feel like this is being perceived right now, within the TradFi world? Oh my God, some morpho vaults have lost some money. Do you think do you think they are really scared? Do you think there's they took a big risk off position? Do you think they understand that some of these risks are not mutualized? They understand the type of transparency questions that they should be asking risk curators or so on? How do you think they perceive the latest events?
Yep. First, I'm serious about this. TradFi doesn't care. But, I mean, bankers and asset managers, I mean, don't care not because they don't fear the risk, but just because, I mean, DeFi it's such a small world. I mean, every day at every conference, we think that we are as big as TradFi, but I mean, we are like this. I mean, they are the ocean. We are just on a small boat and thinking that, okay, we will, take the lead on finance. But I mean, there are so much things to do. So we are only started on this. So this is the first point. But, I mean, you're right. On the second point, of course, and for the guys that are really involved, so at Societe Generale or at other banks, yeah, they are really concerned. Really concerned. For two reasons. The first one is that, okay, if they are working on this, they are especially for the guys, head of digital assets and stuff like this in banks, they are accountable inside their banks. Come on, you asked us to build things on DeFi and look how things are going. I mean, every week, every month, we have some problems though. So first, this is a problem of reputation and the fact that it's sometimes really hard for DeFi people in banks just to explain everything and to say, no, I mean, this is the future. Look, this is the future. It's safe. So yeah, I mean, of course for them it's hard. And yeah, the second thing is for us this is a big argument just to say, okay, guys, we know that most of the finance will be on-chain in the future, but we can't, continue to work like this. So, and about what happened with curators and the DeFi, yeah, it's more okay, we have traceability, but we don't have transparency. So yeah, it's fine to say, okay, I know that on this market or on this vault, some USDC or blah 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 are stuck because of. Okay, it's nice, but at the end we want also transparency. It's not only traceability after the crash or the backlash. And so about this, I think that if we are not, and once again, as an industry, able to, improve and have higher standards, at the end, it's the TradFi and the regulators that, will set up the rules. And I'm not sure that we really want them to just create the framework for every one of us.
And what do you think about like the institutional appetite for insurance when interacting with DeFi protocols? Of course, I'm biased. Like we just closed a partnership with Next Mutual. Thank you. But at least what they've been seeing is for the past 2 weeks, like huge growth in demand. Like they've been, and people are reaching out to them like more and more. Like, do you think like insurance is a bit of a standard, right?
Yeah.
In traditional finance, right? So do you think this
Sure.
is something that is this the breakout moment that will like boost like insurance adoption in crypto institutional adoption?
No, love this question. I mean, as you know, so I have a background in finance. I used to work for so Reuters, and so covering financial markets and bonds at the beginning. I mean, there are two things in finance. I mean, yield and risk. In crypto, which is, I mean, a fair thing, but we went all on yields. So we built this industry knowing that, of course, when you have yield and the more yield you have, the more risk you have, but without managing risk. So, okay, we have, I mean, risk curator, we have, I mean, people like this, but I mean, come on, it's not enough. So, if you have a lot of yields, and I hope that in this industry will create, I mean, more value, so more yields, and will improve also the way that TradFi is generating and sharing yields. Of course, we need to manage the risk, and it can't only stand on the shoulders of some I mean companies which are good companies, and I'm thinking about curators. We need also to be able to manage the risk with, I mean, contracts on a more industrial way and scale. So of course we need the insurance, but as you know, it's only, I mean, the very first step of insurance because it's really costly. It's really hard to, I mean, get an insurance for a high margin industry with big rewards, but also higher risks. I think that it's like the climate change. I mean, it's getting, I mean, so expensive just to, I mean, cover the climate change. So this is exactly the same, I mean, debate and research to find the right balance. I don't have the exact figure in mind, but I think that just the, I mean, insurance for climate change last year, I think that it was more than 200 billions of premium, just to give you an idea. So I mean, it's insane because you have a lot of catastrophes and stuff like this. So I think that, yeah, I mean, we need to have exactly the same thing in crypto, but and if you don't have this, I mean, it will be really hard to scale this industry, and also once again, to onboard, I mean, financial institutions and corporates.
Super interesting. And of course, like this resonates a lot with what I'm seeing personally, like in my work at Symbiotic. And this is why like Symbiotic is becoming like more than just like a place where you have like economic security in like the proof of stakes use cases, but it can become like this underwriting and risk transfer platform where like you can underwrite a whole bunch of different risk. And because like all of the TVL, all of the capital is already there, all of these different use cases are composable with one another. So like the expressivity that you give to capital is getting more and more efficient. And we hopefully think that like this new primitive for crypto will be a way to bring down the cost of capital and get more collateral to underwrite more things. Hopefully we will get like the cost of insurance like lower than like the current state of like global warming. Actually, funnily enough, like we're starting to we've chatted a bit with a company in the real world building energy plants and wanting to source collateral to insure these energy plants in the real world. So I think that even real world risk will try to get insurance with digital assets.
Sure. No, I mean, so it's a really good point, and you know, I think that it will be really interesting to see how the I mean, insurance I mean, part of this industry will grow, because I mean, you talked about under collateralized or over collateralized loans, and the fact that okay, yeah, you have a collateral, and if you have a better insurance system, I mean, it will impact the business model of some collateral managers. So, it's not only about risk management; it's also about the value chain, and it's not hazard that we don't have yet those insurance. It's because, I mean, you can do tons of money because we don't have insurance, and because you said it, if you have an insurance system, I mean, you'll be able um, just to have a better price of the capital. And so for some of the people in this industry, they won't be able to make that much of money, but I mean, the money will still be made, but on the other side.
I want to zoom out a little bit and talk about the state of crypto markets as a whole. Of course, I'm not going to ask for your Bitcoin prediction, Bitcoin price prediction for the end of the year. But one thing that is definitely important is the cyclicality that has happened in crypto markets since their beginning. Essentially, like we think that every like model should be broken at some point. And one thing that's been sticking up to us is the 4-year cycle model. We see in these conferences, we're in November 2025. So according to this 4-year cycle model, like we should be like topping or have already topped.
Yeah.
Do you think that things are changing now that like there's institutional adoption? Do you think that like this cyclicality in crypto is like this curve that will continue to affect us? Or do you think that this time is different?
Yeah. As you know, now there are more financial institutions, and their time frame is way different. So back to 2020, 2021, I mean, still, it was, I would say, 99% retail markets. Okay, with big whales, but not pension funds, banks, even central banks or states. So I think I mean, it's still interesting just to, I mean, observe this 4-year cycle. And I can't and I will not say that it's not relevant anymore. But once again, if you have financial institutions that have a really different time frame, and because now they have a quite big position on the markets, I think I mean, this 4-year cycle is quite different. It's quite different. But once again, we had a lot of conversations with OGs, experts in the market, and it's interesting to see that some of them think that, okay, we are done with this, and other can tell you that, no, no, I mean, still relevant, and maybe even more than before. So honestly, on this, yeah, it's hard to have a strong take on this.
Before we end this, I want to ask you, Raphael, what is like one core belief that you had when you joined crypto professionally that essentially got debunked over the years?
Debunked in which way?
Like you said that,
Okay, okay. For example, what's yours? Just to understand.
well, I thought that decentralization would be like end all be all, and still today we still have projects like choosing centralization. I thought that like you would have like big ecosystems that like essentially like build on top of each other, and you would have maybe like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and maybe Solana, and that would be it, and everything would be stacked on top of them. Like different types of trade-offs, and we're still seeing right now people building new L1s. So I guess, yeah, like
Okay.
please share like your.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's interesting one. Yeah, I would say that, yeah, 10 years ago, if you have asked me the question in 2015, I would have said that, yeah, crypto will be, I mean, more mainstream, but not in the way that, because, I mean, a lot of people would argue that, I mean, it's mainstream, but I mean, more democratized. Uh, and I think that the biggest disappointment for me is still the UX. Still the UX, because okay, we are digital natives, and it's quite easy for us. And once again, it's not only about I mean, the generational gap between our parents and us. It's more okay, if you understand the digital world, I mean, it's easier. And I think that, yeah, we really need to onboard everyone. And not only because once again, there are billions of people who just don't know how to, manage things on a wallet, on chains, and because the UX is still not that good. But I will just end with something. So I saw Pascal Gauthier, so the CEO of Ledger, few days ago in New York, and he said actually something really interesting about the UX. And I observed this 2 days ago. I mean, now I think that it's easier to use a wallet like MetaMask or hardware wallet like Ledger than maybe your bank account, because now with AML, KYC, and stuff like this, I mean, you need to enter 2 passwords, you need to verify your identity, to scan your face, so I think that maybe crypto is getting better, but I mean, it's more. I think that TradFi is getting worse. It's maybe display, but yeah, once again, it's democratization and accessibility. I think that it's really easy for a guy like you, but for example, my sisters and they think that it's too complicated.
Understandable. Understandable. Yeah, makes sense. Before we end this, do you want to share do you want to share a bit your socials, like tell people where you can follow, where they can follow you?
Yep. No, I mean, thanks for the opportunity. I mean, always a pleasure to talk with you and with a mic and without a mic. So thank you again. And just follow the big whale. If you have any question, we are available with the team on X, LinkedIn, of course, Telegram and WhatsApp. And let's continue to work. Let's continue to build. And hopefully, in 10 years or maybe before, we will have another conversation. And I hope that, everyone we will be able to use a wallet and to have coins, tokens on chain, even maybe without knowing that they have those tokens.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks.
Thanks again, man. And take care.